Welcome back, guys. Um, First of all, thanks for your entire support, and please feel free to connect with me if you have any training requirement or you get stuck, any interviews are scheduled, and you feel you're not up to the mark. Then please connect with me. We have so many short-term courses also. You don't need to spend 40 hours 30 hours of course. So we have some courses जो हैं वो एक like 6 hours 7 hours के हैं 10 hours के हैं 1 week के हैं मीन्स 1 week max to max 1 week to 2 weeks में क्रैश कोर्स दैट वी आर प्लानिंग वो कैन हम लोग कंप्लीट कर सकते हैं. सो आज मैंने ये सोचा कि एक एक टॉपिक्स को लेके उसके चीट शीट्स क्या हैं, व्हाट आर द इम्पोर्टेंट थिंग्स एंड टिपिकल इंटरव्यू क्वेश्चन जब आते हैं, जब आप बात करते हो एज ए क्लाउड इंजीनियर और क्लाउड आर्किटेक्ट, तो आप कैसे उसको एक्सप्लेन करेंगे जो नॉर्मली व्हेन वी टॉक अबाउट सिनारियोज. एंड सेकेंडली व्हाट यू आर डूइंग करेंटली. सो मोस्ट ऑफ द टाइम हम लोग इतने ज़्यादा इन्वॉल्व नहीं होते हैं कभी कभी क्लाउड के, इवन यू आर क्लाउड इंजीनियर, architecting the something which is already done, so you just join and follow the things properly. So us point of view say, if any interview question comes and say, um, draw the diagram for any application, 3 layer application, um users from connecting from internet, and then you go to the internet gateway, then load balancer, then servers, web server. ये कैसे होगा उसको एक्सप्लेन भी करना पड़ता है. सो ये एक एज अ पार्ट ऑफ योर क्लाउड इंजीनियर और क्लाउड आर्किटेक्ट, दे ऑलवेज आस्क यू द आर्किटेक्ट लेवल क्वेश्चंस. ओके, so today let's take it out VPC. So let's take cheat sheet about VPC, what exactly the VPC is, and VPC में क्या क्या होता है. तो VPC जो ऐसे, अगर आपको कोर में जाके अगर देखना है VPC के बारे में, तो पहले तो सिक्योरिटी ग्रुप और नाइकल जो सिक्योरिटी, किसी भी VPC में जब हम सिक्योरिटी की बात करते हैं तो ऑलवेज व्हेन यू टॉक ड्यूरिंग इंटरव्यू ऑलवेज से सिक्योरिटी इज अ लेयर्ड अप्रोच. Security is not only one service, so security is a layered approach. So the security group, default security group always attached to the VM, while network ACL works at the network layer. So, allow traffic, deny traffic, but this is just allow. By default, everything is denied. Then there is a core component, subnet logical IP division, public subnet, private subnet. We know that public subnet is all for web servers, private subnet for database servers. If they want to connect to the internet, then we have a NAT devices or NAT instances or NAT gateway. Earlier, we were using NAT instances, but nowadays it's a NAT gateway. So NAT gateway are attached. This is a tricky question normally during interview they ask, is NAT gateway is connected to which routing table? This is a public route or the private route. So it's always connected to the public route. एंड देन राउटिंग टेबल जो है डायरेक्ट नेटवर्क ट्रैफिक होता है इसमें. जैसे राउटिंग टेबल जो पब्लिक राउट प्राइवेट राउट के लिए होता है. सेकेंडली DSCP ऑप्शन वेरी वेरी रेयरली दे विल आस्क प्राइवेट लिंक एंड एंड पॉइंट. ये बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है. मोस्ट ऑफ द टाइम आउट ऑफ 10 इंटरव्यू 9 इंटरव्यूज में ये पूछा गया है. Why we need endpoint? Basically, endpoint provides secured private connectivity. Remember, this is very important. Private connectivity to AWS services without using public internet. So that is the key. हम लोग जिस कारण private endpoints or private link use करते हैं. So instead of one service want to connect to other service, instead of going all the way out and coming back to the VPC, the public subnet, then it will be always better. Secured है और cost भी कम होती है इसमें. So those things you can use that one. Secondly, egress only internet gateway, enable outbound with IP version 6. ये ज़्यादा नहीं पूछते हैं इंटरव्यू में, लेकिन VPC peering के बारे में पूछते हैं. VPC जो कनेक्शंस हैं, जैसे AWS साइट टू साइट VPN है, फिर client VPN है, the way how you connect to uh, your on-site to the AWS. There are multiple ways. One is a VPN. This is a client VPN. One is a site-to-site VPN, and there is a one something called direct connect also. So direct connect के बारे में भी थोड़ी सी जो इंफॉर्मेशन है वो आपको होनी चाहिए. So hosting a public website, multi-tier application, disaster recovery, hybrid cloud setup, secure communication between the different networks, ये सब normally पूछा जाता है. Uh, then the most important thing is the architectural diagram. For example, I'll show you the diagram. So normally, when you join any interview call, they will ask you what's in which domain you are working. उसके बाद specific to any application, what's your job, what's your role, और वो जब बताने के बाद जो सबसे इम्पोर्टेंट चीज़ आती है वो आती है कि भाई आप हाउ टू डिज़ाइन अ सिक्योर्ड VPC फॉर एनी वेब एप्लीकेशन. सो show me the components when you want to design any web application. So normally we start with the internet, but before that, before the internet also we have a Route 53, then we have web application firewall, and then we have internet gateway. All these things comes. So right now we are focusing on VPC, but in the next video, I'll explain you that how we can uh, draw a diagram, something like this. You don't need to be like this one fancy. आपको इतना fancy होने की ज़रूरत नहीं है. लेकिन जब during interview call you share your screen and they ask you to draw the diagram, the most important thing is the flow. So user will connect, come from internet, then there is an internet gateway. Right now here there is no firewall, by the way. There is otherwise there is a firewall. So this is my availability zone, EZ1, EZ2, public subnet. These are the two public subnet, and these are my two private subnet. So all the way I'll come here. On public subnet में हमारे वेब सर्वर्स होंगे, लोड बैलेंसर्स होंगे, नेट गेटवे जो है ये सभी पब्लिक सबनेट में. दिस इज अ ट्रिकी क्वेश्चन नॉर्मली, और दे आस्क यू कि नेट गेटवे अगर है तो वो कहाँ लगा होगा, मैंने कहाँ से कनेक्ट किया होगा आपने. तो नेट गेटवे ऑलवेज ऑलवेज रिमेंबर गाइस पब्लिक सबनेट में ही कनेक्ट होता है. हालांकि इसको यूज़ करते हैं प्राइवेट सबनेट, जो डेटाबेस सर्वर्स हैं वो प्राइवेट सबनेट के जो डेटाबेस हैं वो इंटरनेट कनेक्टिविटी के लिए. दिस इज वन वे, बाय द वे इट्स वन वे कनेक्शन. डेटाबेस कैन कनेक्ट टू इंटरनेट, बट इंटरनेट कैन नॉट कनेक्ट टू डेटाबेस. So this is public subnet, where I have my web servers, load balance load balancers, and then here I have my auto scaling group, public app subnet, and then here I have private subnet, the private DB subnet. These are my private DB subnet. So important thing is inside this VPC where if I have, this is, by the way, this is my web servers. This is these are the web servers. As and when I need more web servers, these web servers can be scaled scale in, scale down kind of thing. So ये जो डायग्राम है इसको आपको we need to explain this diagram. So the internet gateway, then there is a router. Flow will come here. The user will connect to this load balancer. A load balancer, what the load balancer will do? Load balancer will distribute the traffic between the web servers, right? Only web servers. So they are not, web servers will internally connect to this database servers. They cannot connect to the database server. So this is like very small, short, diagram. This is something you need to draw in front of them. So you can, during the training and during the short course, we will, most of the time we will spend on interview questions, interview preparations. Once by the way, guys, for this crash course, you need to have a basic understanding. No need to have a PhD level understanding. This is a basic understanding, and then we can start with that. So if you go to this, so this is the VPC dashboard. Right now I have a default VPC, but if I can create one new VPC, then I will go to the subnet. These are the, by the way, default subnets. Then you will create the new subnet here, and then you will create a new routing table. Once you create the subnet, by the way, when you uh, once you create the subnet and once you create the routing table, you need to attach the subnet to the respective routing table, and then attach the NAT gateway also. You need to create internet gateway first, and you can create the NAT gateway. So these are the things that we will cover in one lab. That lab is close to 1 hour. सो इम्पोर्टेंट थिंग यहाँ पे जो समझने लायक बात है, जो ज़्यादा इम्पोर्टेंट है, वो ये कि आपको ये फ्लो पता होना चाहिए. जो अगर द normally the one question is draw a complete diagram for any web applications. If my private EC2 instance cannot access internet, then there is something wrong with the NAT gateway. Private EC2 instance cannot access internet means there is something called NAT gateway. If the NAT gateway is not proper, then this is that might happen. Okay, website not accessible. These are the typical like cloud engineer जो 5 to 10 years of experience इनका होता है उनके लिए ये these are the typical questions they will ask apart from Kubernetes and Docker and Terraform thing, which we will cover. Don't worry about that. So website not accessible. Customer says website is not loading. How to troubleshoot that? Uh, the check order, the EC2 running is security group, routing table, internet gateway, NACL, ALB, health check. If everything looks good, then that's the indication that your web server may be not accessible because it has a issue with the security group. Most of the time, it's either security group or the NACL. So company has 50 VPCs. Question is company has 50 VPCs. How you will connect, to them? So VPC peering is not a solution for that because 50 VPC requires 1,225 peering connections. Very difficult to manage. So how do you manage? How you will connect them? That's a big question. So these are the typical questions. What is the answer for that? Use transit gateway. One more important thing is why we need to reconsider always to learn AWS even though you know AWS is because they introduced many new services. There were few years back these services were not there. So a transit gateway is a service that will connect multiple VPCs. On-premise data center needs AWS connectivity. So there are two ways. There is a direct connect. Site-to-site VPN is a cheaper but very slow. But if you need more robust connectivity, then we have AWS Direct Connect. Something like, they will ask you that how do you secure S3 without internet, right? So obviously, when we learn gateway VPC endpoints is basically for internal connectivity so that your information should not go out. So that will trigger a security vulnerability. That is one thing. Accessing secret manager thing. Secret manager. How do you application store password inside the secret manager? How do you define those things? So interface endpoint because secret manager is not supported by gateway endpoint. So every solution has some pros and cons. That's something you need to always remember. Your solution must be having some good thing, but some gray area also. Similarly, secure those things. By the way, we'll go to each and every details about that when you join the course because it's not in the 7 minutes. But interview preparation is where you will find the gaps in your knowledge, and then those gaps we will try to fill those gaps. So this is not a traditional your AWS course. We have that course also, but if you already know, if you're already जैसे आपने Udemy से कुछ कोर्स किया हुआ है या फिर Udemy के बाद अभी और कोई कोर्स किया हुआ है आपने, so you don't need to repeatedly learning the same thing, कोई ज़रूरत नहीं उसकी चीज़ की. आप डायरेक्ट यहाँ पे आके इंटरव्यू की प्रिपरेशन कर सकते हैं. हम लोग चीट शीट We'll provide you the cheat sheet, interview preparation, and the certification preparation also. These are the things, and how you will do good when you join any project also. So that is something. By the way, this is not covered under the support, but having a good knowledge about that, that's more important. Then security group versus NACL. Security group always. This is typical, interview question that what's the difference between the security group and NACL? Security group is VM level, NACL is the network level. So something like that. Two VPC cannot communicate. What would be the problem? They are not able to connect. So and you need to come up with the answer also. So we will provide you the answer, but first we will, when you start the class, we'll ask you some questions, something like mock test, mock interview. Over there you will find your gray area where your gaps in your knowledge, and then we will try to fill those gaps, and then again we will ask the same the interview questions. More importantly, your confidence. Sometimes every interview we cannot crack, guys. See, it's a thumb rule. Every interview is not for you, and you are not for every interview. Some interviews you need to do some just for test your knowledge. So don't worry about that. We'll do a lot of mock interviews so that you will be able to manage it very well. So thank you, guys. I don't want to keep very long this session. It's just small session, and then tomorrow we will connect with some other topic. But if you are interested, um, then you can join. It's not going to be very 5 weeks, 6 weeks class. But if you are totally new, my suggestion is that go for one complete course, and then you can join any. So this small courses will try to fill the gaps in your knowledge. But first acquire the knowledge and then fill the gaps in your knowledge. Till then, happy learning, guys.